Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. My name is Husni bin Hussein and today I will be giving a presentation about classroom language based on the TSLB 3422 assignment. So let us start. Oops. What is classroom language? Now, classroom language refers to the language used by teachers and students to communicate during lessons. It includes instructions, explanations, questions, feedback, and interactions that facilitate learning. Effective classroom language helps guide student learning, maintain classroom management, and build a productive educational environment. So, in this presentation, I will be covering 4 different elements of classroom language, which are giving instructions, questioning strategies, managing behavior, and giving feedback. So by the end of the presentation, we will have a better and clearer understanding of how these elements contribute to creating a dynamic and productive classroom environment. All right. Let's move on to the first element, which is giving instruction. So let's refer to the green box here, which is the definition of giving instruction. It refers to the way teachers guide students on tasks or learning activities, typically explaining what to do, how to do it, and when it should be completed. So there are 3 different aspects of giving instructions that I have come up with. The first one is giving task explanation. Break tasks into simple steps and explain them clearly. Use examples and check understanding by asking students to repeat or rephrase instructions. So when we give a, a task explanation, right, we should give them with simple vocabulary, simple words, and then after we give the explanation, we ask them back. Are you do you understand? Do you know what are we going to do? So that's the first aspect. The second aspect of giving instruction is giving instruction is I forgot to write here for physical response. Yeah, this is physical response. Use gestures or demonstrations to support verbal instructions, helping students, especially visual learners, follow along more easily. So when we use gestures or demonstrations in giving our instruction, right? It will as kids they actually have a tendency to see more than they listen. So when we use gestures, there are physical interaction, the physical movements, so they will understand it more clearly. And the last aspect is the usage of mother tongue. So in multilingual classrooms, strategically use the mother tongue to ensure understanding, particularly for complex tasks or when students are still developing language proficiency. So in this matter, the usage of mother tongue is something that could be considered, but teachers should bear in mind that we cannot overuse it to the point that students will feel too comfortable when we use mother tongue as the way of interaction. So, based on what I've learned, we should see how the students would understand our instruction bit by bit, and then we should implement the English language slowly as their proficiency slowly and gradually become better. All right, let's see the classroom example and how teachers give instruction. So,
Right now, everyone will get a slip of paper. You remember this game, right? You get a slip of paper. Can you look at it? Yes. 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 You read the question and you look at the paper. And what we do next, Jenny? Can you come here, please? So Jenny has a paper. Read what's there. And I have a paper too. So when do you have breakfast?
I have breakfast in the morning.
Okay, what is yours? What is the question? What is the question?
What's that?
Go to bed. Is that right?
Yes.
So now let's swap. And I go and ask other people. Okay, is that clear? You know what to do?
Yes.
So Hannah, what we will do now? We
take my
card. We ask. Yeah, we say the sentence or we ask the question. And what do we do next?
We
swap. Swap. Okay. So give me a card. Don't start yet. Don't start yet.
so based on the video I just showed, the teacher use we can conclude how the teacher use her methods in order to give instruction, right? These are the keynotes in giving instructions. First one is keep it simple. She used short and clear sentences, and she avoided jargons or complex terms, right? She used simple vocabulary because she was at the time based on the video she was uh, teaching first graders, so it's only natural for her to use simpler words even. And and then the next one is be specific. She provided a step by step guidance on how to uh, sorry she provided step by step guidance on how to play or do the activity, right? From taking the cards to reading it out aloud, asking to the other student, and eventually swap. So that and she also makes sure each instructions has only one action. So it was take the card, read the card, ask the other person, and lastly swap the card. So it is very specific and simple. And then the teacher also check the understanding of her students. She asked questions to confirm the students' understanding, right? She asked back, and she even reintroduced back the instructions. And so and this behavior allows them to ask clarifying questions, right? The students, when we watched the video, the students were a bit lost, or they kind of confused a bit because they are still kids, right? So when the teacher checked the understanding of the students, they so now I see what they have to do. And lastly, visual and verbal cues combine spoken instructions with gestures or visuals when possible. She had this one slideshow that had the word swap, if you noticed it on this one time frame. And she while she was giving the instruction, she showed the word swap. So she was using other visual cues to help her. All right, moving on to the second element, questioning strategies. As referred to the green box, the techniques used by teachers to ask questions that promote critical thinking, elicit responses, and assess understanding. So, in questioning strategies, there are four different aspects that we should take into account. The first one is attention. ensure students are focused with eye contact, names, or signals before asking a question. The second one is pause, which is the allowed time for students to think and formulate a thoughtful response after asking a question. Based on my learnings, the pause element is one of the is based on my based on my learnings, the pause element should be around 3 to 5 seconds of worth of pause, so that it won't make the the wait too long and too awkward for the students. The third element of questioning strategies is voice. Use a clear, modulated voice to capture attention and encourage responses. And lastly, content. Ask relevant and thought-provoking questions, balancing open questions for deeper thinking with closed ones to check understanding. Alter the questions to the student's level for accessibility. So we should always think about the content of the questions so that it won't be irrelevant for the students based on the topic provided.
It
Watch
says
the
this
video.
word stigmatized.
Yeah.
What do you think that word stigmatized means? And if you'd like, could you tell us what line number that was on, Benaya, when she talks
50.
about line 50? So folks, you can go ahead and turn to line 50. Let's see if we can figure out what that word stigmatized means. Because Shirley says her personal role too, right, is that if a woman steps out of order, they're stigmatized as being what?
Unfeminine.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Adrian?
Unfeminine.
Unfeminine, right? Unfeminine. Okay, so Kyle, what do you think that means, stigmatized then?
Labeled.
Labeled. Very good, right? Labeled as stigmatized, right? So this table, I'm going to come back to you, okay? Labeled as stigmatized. Do you think Shirley ever felt what it was like to be stigmatized or labeled as something?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you think that?
Because she was African American, and since she was a woman, she was going to be labeled because she was in a house of like political terms, and that she was going to be picked on about that.
Okay. And what else is she doing? What else is she trying to do?
She's trying to fight for women to have equal rights as men to get any job they want except for typing.
Right. She's trying to get women a job that requires thought, not just do you type, okay? She's trying to say, yes, this is what we want. We want women in the workforce. We want women to be leaders, okay? All right.
Right. So that's the video I have provided. So based on the video, there are 5 key components that we can extract from the teacher. First one is the usage of open-ended questions. The teacher asks questions that require more than a yes or no response, and that encourages deeper thinking and reflection. So, but based on this video I provided, this was something more to the higher level of thinking, and probably not primary school. So it was relevant for the it was relevant for the teacher to use open-ended questions. And then the second one is encourage elaboration. She used follow-up phrases such as "Can you explain more?" or "What do you think?" Right? When she asked that one student, "What do you think the word stigmatized was?" Right? And it allows the responders to provide details or reasoning. And then the third one is nurture critical thinking. She asks why and how questions to explore ideas in depth. This helped the students to think beyond surface level answers. The fourth one is active listening. She listened the responses attentively and respond with interest. And when we listen to the video back, she used the other students' answers to ask further questions. At the end of the video, we can see two students when she asked the one on the left, then she asked the one on the right using the left student's answer. And then lastly, she created a safe space to make sure the person feels comfortable sharing their thoughts and avoid judgment or leading them to a specific answer. Sorry. Oops. Moving on to the third element, managing behavior. Let's focus on the green box as the definition. The verbal and non-verbal techniques used by teachers to maintain order, discipline, and a positive learning atmosphere. So, for managing behavior, there are 4 approaches for teachers to handle this. The first one is establishing clear classroom rules. Set expectations from the start so students know what behavior is acceptable. The next one is maintaining routines. Consistent routines help students stay focused and reduce opportunities for disruptive behavior. The third one is using positive reinforcement, rewards, and acknowledging good behavior to encourage students to continue making positive choices. And lastly, applying consistent consequences. Address misconduct with fair and consistent consequences, ensuring students understand the link between actions and outcomes. This is the classroom example.
Before we start, let's remember our 6 rules. So what is rule number 1? All together? Number 2, raise your hand. Number 3? Listen and very good. How about rule number 4? Excellent. Rule number 5? Are your desks clean? Is your desk clean? Yeah, everything's fine. Are you ready for the class? So I'll do my best. Number 1,
All right, it's the end of the classroom example. So, based on the video, she was using the first aspect of managing behavior, which is rules reinforcement in the class, right? The first thing to note about her is that she stated realistic expectations for the students. She did not put unbearable rules for the students, making them achievable. The first rule was if I remember correctly, the first rule was speak English. And then the second rule was to raise their hands. The third rule, hands on your desk, feet on the floor. The fourth would be nice all the time. The fifth one would be clean up. So those are straightforward rules that can be achieved by even lower grade students. And then we can see that she immediately addressed any kind of hitch. Whenever there's a hitch, the teacher instantly asks the student out the difficulty they are facing. Like when the student said their desk was not clean. Sorry. When the teacher asks the student why is the student's desk was not clean, right? She immediately addressed to make sure the rules are still reinforced within the class. And then consistency. From the looks of it, the rules have been introduced in the past. The teacher solidified the knowledge by consistently reintroducing the rules at the start of each class. When we watched the video just now, she said, before we start the class, right? So that indicates that they have done that multiple times in the past. And simple and short rules. Rules such as be nice and speak English are simple yet very effective. Moving on to the final element, giving feedback. So focus on the green box as the definition. The process of providing students with information about their performance to guide improvement and reinforce learning. So there are three aspects for us to note whenever we as teachers trying to give feedback to the students. The first one is timely. Provide feedback as soon as possible after the task, while the material is still fresh in the student's mind. This allows them to apply the feedback immediately. The second one is specific. Focus on particular areas of performance. Instead of just giving general comments such as good job, be specific about what was done well or what needs improvement. And lastly, actionable. Offer practical suggestions for improvement. Give students clear steps they can take to enhance their work or address areas where they may be struggling. So let's move to the video example in the classroom.
All right, Mr. Spencer. All right. Well, right now I see you. I see you fully. I say mostly you're probably like you're right in between these two. I'd say you're right around a 3.3. Okay. Once again, we build up. We give a little bit more details. Okay. We're pushing you more towards that category. All right. Great job, Spencer. Go ahead, buddy.
All right.
Read it with confidence. Okay.
Palmer LaRue from Ringer by Jerry Spinelli obviously trusts Dorothy because he'd listened to her advice. You wouldn't listen to a stranger's advice, would you? It is clear to me that Palmer trusts Dorothy when he is listening to her saying, "Why don't you skip 10 and just go to 11?" Also, Palmer told Dorothy a big secret that he hasn't told anyone, not even his parents, that he has a pigeon as a pet. Even named it Nipper. I know how it feels to trust someone with a big secret, but I never had to trust someone with a secret about a pigeon. I wish I could have a trustworthy friend that I can tell millions of secrets to.
Okay, Spencer. Awesome conclusion there. Okay, great intro and conclusion. Actually, I really like both of those. Okay, and right now, just looking at our rubric here from New York State. All right, you were clear, you were purposeful. Okay, you definitely linked a lot of things. I loved your text to self connection. What did you say? I wouldn't just trust anybody. Can you read me that sentence one more time? Actually,
The text to self?
Yep, you said I wouldn't just trust anybody.
No, I think you.
What did you say there?
I know how it feels to trust someone with a big secret, but I never had to trust someone with a secret about a pigeon.
Okay, what a text to self connection there. Okay, that's a great job, Spencer. Once again, bud, you are getting your way towards that 4 category.
So let's see the things that we can learn from the teacher just now, right? Giving effective feedback, timely, specific, and actionable. The first one is feedback setup. The teacher assesses a student's performance using a rubric starting with a rating of 3, but guided the student towards improvement, which he stated in the video, right? He was based on the rubric of the new Straight Time something. And he even said that the student can go to the 4th level of the rubric. Feedback is framed to be constructive and supportive. And then the feedback given. The teacher praises the student's introduction and conclusion, clarity, and personal connection to the text. Okay, as we can see from the video, it encourages the student to refine a specific phrase for even stronger connections and alignment with the rubric, making it actionable. Such as when the teacher asks the student to repeat that one phrase again, which I think it's about trusting someone. Yeah, trusting strangers, something like that. So it encourages the student to be more specific. And then the teacher also commented about the student's performance. The student presents a literary analysis from Ringer by Jerry Spinelli, focusing on trust between characters, right? He mentioned about building trust between characters. And then the student makes a personal connection to the text, discussing the importance of trusting someone with a secret. So the teacher mentioned about it and he liked it, apparently. And lastly, encouragement. The teacher motivates the student by acknowledging progress towards a higher performance category and provides clear steps to achieve the four ratings that we just talked about, right? Based on the rubric. So moving on to the benefits of learning classroom language. So the first one would be clarity in communication. It ensures students clearly understand what is expected, which helps improve comprehension and academic performance. Uh, the second one is enhanced engagement. Well-structured language keeps students engaged, encourages participation, and stimulates thinking. We can see this more in questioning strategies when the teacher engage with the student to get more answers. And then behavioral management, establishing clear verbal cues for behavior helps maintain order and respect in the classroom. And lastly, facilitates feedback. The classroom language provides an avenue for giving constructive feedback, sorry, which boosts student confidence and helps improve skills. So we covered four different classroom language: giving instruction, question strategies, managing behavior, and giving feedback. And altogether, these elements will create a classroom environment where students will feel supported, engaged, and motivated to learn more. By using these strategies, teachers can enhance communication and manage the classroom, and at the same time, will guide the students toward better achievement and success. So I think that is all from me. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope this presentation provided valuable insights into the key aspects of classroom language and how to apply them in our teaching in the future. So thank you and goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.